Wickham, a system for integrating discussion and summarization in collaborative writing. Suppose your college's student body wants to improve the dining options on campus. The students turn to a forum to discuss ideas, but eventually there are too many comments to keep up. How can the student body reach a consensus on this mountain of ideas and combine them into a cohesive proposal? Today, it is too easy for online discussions to grow out of hand with the current tools we use. Existing solutions, such as filtering, voting, or moderation, can suppress minority ideas or reveal biases. Also, there's no way to synthesize the ideas, so users have to move to a separate document writing software, meaning that users can't refer to the conversation in their final document. That's where Wickham comes in. Wickham is a project that provides a new way to create something meaningful from discussion by integrating discussion and synthesis on the same platform. This allows ideas to maintain their provenance as they move from original comments into the final document. Originally, Wickham was built for static discussions to be imported and then summarized. But conversations might not stop there. So I built on top of this tool to create Wickham Plus, which allows groups to comment and summarize interchangeably in a synchronous way, growing and shrinking the content. Here's an example workflow. Users start off discussing, shown here in blue. Blue comments represent unsummarized comments. Once users are done discussing an idea, they can summarize that thread, creating a summary, shown in orange. Now the comments underneath are yellow, showing that they've been summarized. So on wickham.org, users can summarize this group of comments, forming an orange summary. Then the originally blue, unsummarized comments become collapsed underneath and turn yellow, representing summarized comments. We continue to recursively summarize the entire conversation. On Wickham, you can select summaries or comments and group them all together into one single summary. Now, when a new reader comes in, they see the summary first, but it can be expanded to see the original comments and summaries underneath. This is what it looks like on the website. If the discussion gives them a new thought, they can leave a new comment under the summary. The summary icon updates to show that it now needs to be updated to incorporate the new comments. Someone can update the summary to include that new thought, returning the summary to orange. So on Wickham, you can edit the summary content, and then you can evaluate the summary and mark that comment as included. I conducted a user study where college students write a proposal to improve campus dining options. One group used Wickham, and the other control group used Google Docs and a messaging app. The study had a synchronous in-person 30-minute portion, followed by an asynchronous remote portion over 3 days. This graph shows the default number of words shown on each interface over time. In Wickham, this value includes the words in summaries and unsummarized comments, because summarized comments are collapsed. In the control group, this is just the total word count. In the asynchronous portion, we found that Wickham users could easily find new blue comments and partial summaries to work on. This meant multiple rounds of discussion and summarization. In contrast, after the synchronous portion, the control group couldn't figure out what was newly added to the doc, so the only changes they made were clarifying and grammatical fixes, leaving the content mostly unchanged. Wickham also provided more organization because the synthesizing occurred incrementally. They made use of Wickham features such as tags to group similar comments and flagging of incomplete summaries. On the other hand, a control group user explained that having two platforms diluted the information and made it confusing. Wickham users also found that the process was more inclusive of everyone's ideas because, unlike the control group, they always first discussed all ideas before including them into the final summary. On the other hand, in the control group, they used a +1 voting system, leaving some users feeling like their ideas were left out or not addressed. The control group also worked very independently, splitting up the proposal writing by topic. As a result, when users came back to the proposal in the asynchronous portion, they avoided editing sections that others wrote, whereas in Wickham, users felt that summaries were very collaborative and felt more comfortable changing the proposal content later on. After the pilot study, I took the feedback that users provided and added some major functionalities and changes to the interface of Wickham. First, I changed the original node view of the summary tree to what we call an outline view. Many users from the pilot study could not easily find where they had taken part in a discussion because the original tree only showed the shape of the discussion but did not provide context on what each common thread was about. The outline view gives this context, helps the user with navigation, and still maintains the threaded discussion structure. For this outline view, I also added a nested drag and drop feature for comments to be moved around and maintain their order using a doubly linked list backend for the comments. I also added bold indicators to the text to help users find comments they have not read yet. These bold indicators are removed when a user clicks on the text or hovers over it for a couple of seconds, marking the comment as read. I also added customizable email notifications for users and the ability to mention another user in a comment. One user from the pilot study said that this would help them know when someone else replied to them or wanted to get their attention. In the last 2 weeks, I conducted 2 larger user studies. We first performed a within subjects experiment with 6 groups of 5 to 6 randomly chosen participants in each group, making up for a total of 35 users. Each group worked on 2 different proposal tasks asynchronously for 3 days each, one in Wickham and one in Google Docs and Slack, with the order counterbalanced. So by the end of the study, there were a total of 6 Wickham proposals created and 6 Doc proposals created. We gave each user 2 post-study surveys, one right after each condition, and ran pair sample t-tests. We found strong evidence that Wickham Plus made it easier to find new ideas introduced during discussion and also made it easier to find topics that still needed work. We also found strong evidence that users found the writing process in Wickham Plus to be more organized compared to a control. One Wickham user said that the clear organization on points and subpoints, the visible tree structure of the conversation, and the bold comment indicators made it easy to find the new ideas. Another user felt that Wickham Plus had an intuitive tree structure that helped reduce overall efforts through the gradual summarization process. The studies up till now were all with small groups of around 6 users each, but we wanted to see what would happen if the groups were larger. So we performed a between subjects experiment with 2 large groups, one 15-person group discussing asynchronously on Wickham Plus, and another 14-person group discussing the same topic asynchronously on a Google Doc, each for 5 days. We had originally recruited 20 people for each group, but by the end of the study, these were the users that had completed the task given. We gave each of these studies a post-study survey for their condition they took a part of and ran a one-way ANOVA test to compare the resulting metrics. We found strong evidence that Wickham Plus produced a more comprehensive proposal and that Wickham Plus users felt that the process was more inclusive overall. One doc user explained that they were in the dissenting minority and didn't get their voice heard in the final proposal because the document was decided by popular opinion. Another doc user said that it was hard to collaborate using a +1 voting scheme, and the final proposal was written from a very different perspective than their own. On the other hand, one Wickham user noted that seeing the discussion points while they summarized helped make sure that nothing fell through the cracks, ensuring that the final proposal was very thorough. Another user felt that the group formed consensus by making the summaries neutral and representing multiple options instead of having the majority only writing their own view. They explained that summarizing others' points helped them better understand the various perspectives. Overall, these studies suggest that Wickham Plus helps promote inclusiveness, organization, and lightweight coordination compared to a control. It also suggests that Wickham Plus allows for more iterative improvements to documents and promotes the incorporation of new ideas. You can try out Wickham at wickham.org. Thank you for listening.